Okay. Does that mean that I started stream? Yeah. Us me. Okay. There we go. There it is. Table. It re hmm. Oh, regardless. Great good. I very clearly don't know what it. Okay, if we don't know, figuring it out. Enable it. Save. Okay, we're just gonna worry about the captions not right now. Probably better. Yeah. Work. I'm even making a Wooper. Trying to make sure that like it'll work. So far, the only thing that's not working is, which is, but with it, that's okay. Something's bound to not. Regardless, if you don't know, I'm WireMouse. Needle felting. Banging the and moving the tape. I guess I need to make sure to not get like on the table. I'll lean on it. What does a Wooper look like? Nobody knows what a Wooper. See if messages show up in chat. You. Hey, you stupid. Hey, it does. Show up. That is kind of extremely tiny, though. Hmm. Hmm. Or not super freaking tiny. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out and it'll be fine. I do like that. Don't know what I should be doing. I'm not aware. I'm just a little guy. I'm doing my best. What does a Wooper look like? What does a Wooper look like? Like that. Wow. You ever to be thinking. Ever to be like a little bit. Luckily nobody's watching. Means that I can fuck up and not worry about bothering people. Petey. Baby boy. So tiny and small. There. Oh, I should I should be playing my music, dumbass. Play your music. That's what the music's for. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. I can turn it down on my own headphones. That's helpful. Thing's really except when it's not, but you know. Pokemon music relaxing. I'll have to figure out how to, like, when I go live, how to set the title up ahead of time. But you do just go live from OBS. That's you don't have to. Big do it. Don't know. I'm gonna try to figure that out. Literally, why is it like, your captions are off? You worked so fucking hard to make it work, and then it didn't. Enabled. Enabled. Save. Save, please. In my whole life, all I want in this world is for the captions to work. Please, baby girl. I disable. And then I save. And then what if I come back? And I enable it. Oh my gosh. Caption source. Oh, oh, that's why. That's why. I figured it out. It wasn't anything to do with that. That is such a, this is such a Hey Arnold ass head. Look at this thing. Why are you so flat? Nobody has ever said to me in my entire life. Like, bitch, you ain't flat. You were a C cup in the 8th grade. By the way, you're non-binary. That's not gonna be a problem. That didn't. Wooper-ish. Wooper-esque. I know, honey. Yeah. Top frames. Okay. I want to know. Why is that so frickin' tiny? Can it be bigger? Like the slime to stream thing go. See if I can find it. I should just I should have that. Ah, slime to stream. Oh. It is a browser source. Yeah, let's just check on that, shall we? Uh-huh. Are you so fucking small? As people have said to me. They have said, why are you so fucking small? Size. Let's make it bigger. Or just, like, bigger in general. Why is it so fucking small? Okay, we're sending test messages. Does that, like, look good? Who the fuck knows, man? We're just doing our best out here. Camo. But it's kind of like working though. I'll ask some. I'll figure it out. A suitable Wooper head. Do I have pictures of a Wooper? Get me pictures of Wooper. Alright. Pop out chat over here. No, no, no! Lovesick's here! Shit! I've been perceived! Fuck! Hey. I'm doing a test stream. The chat is too small and I'm trying to figure out how to fix that, but you're not tech support and I'm not like making you do anything, so I'm just trying to make a Wooper here. Figure it out. Hopefully the volumes sound okay. I did a bunch of sort of test recordings to get those looked all right. Caption working. Got the doggy working. Hello, sweetie baby boy. This is the layer. It's called core wool. And usually it is actually like regular wool. It's kind of a rough, undyed wool. But what I use is essentially polyfill that you would use for like pillows and plushies and things. Because I learned from right when I started needle felting, I found somebody at a small convention who did that, and I said, please be my senpai and tell me everything you know. And they told me that from Michael's craft stores, the Loops and Threads Supreme Fiber Fill is what you want, because it felts to itself and it's really, like, dense, which is good. And that's what I've used ever since. I also just woke up. Okay, thanks, Love. And everybody's like, For It wasn't in Gen 5. It's like, shut up. It's funny. It's a cute little song. You have any joy in your life? Say that. Planning on doing a, like, sort of, you know, real stream on Saturday afternoon. 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock about. And that will be making a large doll of my avatar. Right now I'm just making something really small because I'm doing essentially a stress test of like, can my computer handle being live for like, you know, half an hour. And it seems to. If this computer didn't work, I would be really upset. His fucking body is so fucking small. That too. Luckily, with felting, you can just sort of change things as you go. And also, with felting, you don't want to, you want to leave some of this fluff on the edge here, and that allows you to use that as the connector. It's just, if it's just like two pieces by themselves, it's going to be really hard to have enough material to be the joiner. Well, like sculpting, I really appreciate, because things like crocheting and stuff, they're all wonderful, but there's just like so much counting and specificity involved. And if you mess up, it's like a problem. Like if you mess up here, I've messed up plenty of times, and you just You just take that part off and you start over. Like, this eye doesn't look good. Rip. Well, okay, now it's gone. Now I can fix it. Suppose for future reference, since I have most of my screens occupied, I should, like, print out a picture. Have it. The line in the dark here. Ah. Looking at head. Not me looking back at the picture like, did I make him's head too flat? And the answer is yes. You did make him's head too flat, but that's okay. Like, also the shape of the sort of under part. You could just either pop that out or make that a browser source. We have the technology. The technology is I don't know what I'm doing, though. Would also be helpful if I, like, had a second screen, but, alas. You're also, like, just gonna see my headphones cord. But it's pink, so it's cute. It's that charming scuff, as Joe Cat said during. I made a Wooper before. It was one of the very first things that I made when I started felting. Still, I know I still have it somewhere. It's very scuffed looking. Still pretty cute. Wasn't smart though to do that first because Wooper has like those, axolotl gills that are like, how exactly are you supposed to make that with felt? So I just kind of like made them little like wisp. And also, in general, you will make the entire thing as a like as the base first. Instead of like, for example, covering this with the color. Then adding on like the arm stuff. It just depends on what you're doing. Like when I make the mallow, I do the arms separately. Because like those are those have a skeleton. Those have a wire skeleton in them. So like if it makes sense to do it that way, then you do it that way. But usually, particularly for like human shaped figure, I will fire thing in full first. Top of it. Easy thing to forget, which is what I'm doing right now, is that it has to look good from the side as well. Like it needs to have a three-dimensionality to it. Which I purposefully didn't do on the Pure Vanilla Cookie doll, because it's supposed to be this kind of two-dimensional, like, gingerbread cookie. But in general, like, creatures have round heads. They don't just have flat heads. That's why I'm adding some the front and the back here. Ow! First stab, we got there. First stab myself. That name ain't a joke. I mean, in order to stab myself less, I have these. These are made of leather. They're finger protectors. And what I will often do is, you know, like this kind of thing where I'm stabbing very, very close to my fingers. And the psychopaths who don't use these finger guards can't do that. So, that's part of why I wear them, and also because otherwise I don't think I'd be able to feel my fingers anymore. It would be full of holes. Already full of holes from the times I've stabbed myself anyway. Got any felting for the past? Try not to rattle the table in the camera too. Have to make sure that I don't like the table, because that's what rattles the camera. Well, right. Like, it says it's unstable, but I don't have an unstable. I haven't dropped any frames or anything. It seems all right. That. And you don't have to stick around, Lovesick. You can do whatever you want. I'm just sort of. Thank you for showing up anyway. Even though I didn't announce it. Yeah, and I will just sort of like. You can mold it pretty well, even just. Do I want to add the feet now? I think I do. Got dumb little feet and dumb little tail. Yeah. Got little feet. Got little baby feet. And like a big old tail. That's a technical term. Big old tail and little tiny feet. That. Stop. Don't. Just like, don't keep your elbows off the table. Good manner. I'll get used to it. Because I have filmed myself felting plenty of times before, but when it's sped up, the camera shaking doesn't matter. Because it goes so fast that you don't register it. So yeah, like this kind of thing. This kind of thing you could not do if you weren't wearing the finger protectors. I just do it like second nature. Again, we leave a little fluff on the end here, but since this is going to go up, I think what I'm going to do is add just a little bit more over here to the back. About right? Yeah, it's about right. And then generally for things like this, to make sure that they're the same size, I will just like make them together and then put them on so that I can more clearly see they're the right size and shape. What I might do is just make the base for this, and then sort of like make the rest of it later as an I don't know what I'm doing with the stream kind of test. Or stream. See, if I don't get orders, then I'm not gonna have stuff to stream with. But no, I'll just make stuff. And there'll be gaming. And I can always, like, put stuff on the store. But, like, hopefully, if things go well, I can be like, hey, if you order something, I'll make it on stream. Sort of an incentive for... And obviously, like, if they don't want me to. But... needle felting is so incredibly not an exact science, like, at all. What I like about it. Like, yeah, this looks about right. I'm excited for the GDQ games list to come out. That's supposed to happen May 1st, so like in about a week. Then I'll be able to figure out what I'm making for SGDQ. That'll be exciting. Probably make more this time if I'm going to be streaming it. He's about the same size. Point. Yeah. Put them on like this, and then they will probably eventually be more like stable on here. Also need to learn to show things like this and not like this, because this is facing me and this is facing the... We'll do this and have them loose for now so that we can get the colored felt on there, the colorful felt. Yeah. Better. I think for Mallow, who also has these kinds of... I do. They're also a bit... Flipper feet. Little babe. Which is so fucking gamified. It's really funny. They're like, you gained an achievement. It begins. You did your first stream. I'm like, okay. Thanks, Twitch. I will have to go back and watch and be like, does this look okay in terms of like how big the chat is? I don't know how to make it bigger. I will figure that out. Well, I guess I don't know how to make it bigger without it like running off the other side. I know how to make the box bigger. I don't know how to make the actual chat bigger. Probably ask Lazarfen. He's looking a little... Looking a little something. He's got a little something to him. I think him body too big and him head too small. Let me check. Who messaged me on Twitch? Oh. Nobody. That's okay. Who among you knows what's going on? Certainly not me. Upa. Yeah, Mr. Upa. He needs a bigger head. Him head too small. This mistake last time I made a Wooper. Head too fucking small. And this is just this pad. In the past I had used a in the past I had used a little styrofoam block, and that works too. This one's a little bit nicer. It's made of like a really solid wool, so it won't really deform. Because what'll happen if you use the styrofoam is that it will eventually like get these curves in it, like a mattress that you've slept on for too long. And like stuff gets stuck in there and so on. So this one should be nicer. I got it relatively recently. Elbows off the table, Massey. I'm less nervous than I thought I would be. I mean, probably because there aren't really people, but like, I'm such a fucking anxious guy that like, the fact that I'm not like having a panic attack, all, I'm proud of myself, you know? Stop rattling the camera! It's easy to just get into something and then like forget what you're doing with yourself. Forget what you're doing with like your hands. Stuff that I can't get away with when it's real time and not sped up 10,000%. Literally sped up to 10,000%. I go until berries. Are captions working? Yes, captions are working. Probably in the future I'll get like a nicer like wireless head. For the moment you'll just get to see. That looks a little bit more proportionate. Got big head. Bullhead syndrome. Round him out. The tail. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I just kind of like it. And over here I have the other wool that I'm going to be using. I generally like to get them out, have them. Also because my box with all my stuff in it is like full to bursting. You sort of get a feel for like how thick you want things to be, like how much felt is going to consolidate down into something smaller. It's good to sort of like roll it up first and like compress it as much as you can. This felter that I really look up to, Carrie Bird, she makes a lot of stuff that's like bigger, and will wrap it in like string, like kitchen twine, so that it compresses it, because otherwise if you don't, then it just you just end up having to dab for so much longer, and it can be like denser on the outside than it is on the inside, and that's like happened with some of the stuff that I've made before. And it's not like the end of the world. It doesn't matter to anybody but the person who made it, but... Oh no! Oh good, the raid alert works. Guys. Oh no, oh no. Nightbot, calm the hell down. Yay! You. This is not my official first stream. Oh my gosh, Nightbot needs to calm the fuck down. I don't know what I'm doing. Yay! You know, considering that I'm going to work on it later, I don't have to fix it right now. Yeah, what I'm doing right now is I'm making a Wooper. I've made Woopers before. That is also not my voice. I just got that from somewhere. But that's my dog, Ashy. Oh, Ash. Ashy, would you like to say hi to people? Yes, hello! Oh, hello, my child. I'll be doing my, like, actual first stream on Saturday. I'm gonna be making a full-size felt doll of my, like, WireMouse avatar character. Because I figured out how to make their fucking iridescent suit. I have some... Let me just grab it, actually. This is called pre-felt. It's like what you would think of if you had felt. And I have some of this. And I use this for when I have to make, usually like clothes. And you can make it yourself, but it is a pain in the ass! So I was like, okay. When I do like the watercolor versions of this character, I kind of use like blue, like a light blue, and then I put like pink and purple over it. Again, I'm sorry for Nightbot being hyphy. I will fix it later. I don't have mods and I don't know how to fix it right now, but I'm not going to worry about it. Also, the chat is like the tiniest thing you've ever seen in your entire life. I also don't know how to fix that. I may ask somebody later to help me. I'm just trying to like not have too much on my plate, because I like so incredibly don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna take like some of this felt and like have it kind of like this, and just like really loosely have it here, and then cut it out. Yeah, and Renee, if you would like to help, you can, but I have asked like Fen and Laz in the past to help me, and I'm frankly proud that I got this far. Okay. You know, maybe I can fix the Nightbot. Be like, hey, buddy, I'm really gonna need you to chill for like 2 fucking seconds. Excess caps, no. Excess emotes, no. Calm the hell down. Okay, maybe that helps. All right. And then I'll fix chat being too small later. Mostly because like that's making people feel bad, so I don't want to do that. This get popped out chat back. Yes, you're all being the testers for me. Also, this is my microphone cord. I hope you don't mind that it's there because it's gonna be there. Um, there's no good way to route around it. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Hi, honey. Hi. Hello. He's so incredibly small. Do you see this? Do you see how little he is? He's the smallest dog who ever lived. Yes, and he has the squishiest face. He has the squishiest face. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I know, it's like, are you the kind of dog parent who, hey. Are you the kind of dog parent who talks to their dog in a silly voice, or are you a psychopath? Because every dog parent should talk to their dog in a silly voice. Also, part of the reason why I wear these are made of leather. These are kind of a thick leather that's relatively flexible. Is so that I can do stuff like this, so that I can make flat things. Otherwise, I would be stabbing the absolute shit out of my fingers. And the people who don't use, because these are sort of like intended for beginners, I guess, technically. But I use them all the time, and I'm not a beginner. Because I like to do stuff like this. Then I would be named Holy Mouse. Oh my god. Yeah, we're trying to make like a flat Wooper tail. And this material right here is referred to as core wool, core wool. And that is so that you don't use up the nice colorful wool on like the structure of it. So everything that I make has this base of this white wool. But this is actually essentially polyfill. It's a specific brand from Michaels called Loops and Threads Supreme Fiberfill. And also, when you're doing this, you want to leave a little bit of this fluff at the end because this is like the connector. Because if it was just the tail by itself and it was like all crunched in, then you wouldn't have anything to connect it to the body with. But yeah, this is when I first started needle felting, I went to a small anime convention and I saw some people who were selling felted stuff. Yeah, just like that. And like for example here, I'm thinking, no, but I might have, but I didn't need to. I had enough here, but add some. A nice thing about needle felting is that it's a lot like sculpting, and if you don't like something, you can just change it. Does that look about right? About right. But yeah, I was like, tell me everything you know. Please be my senpai. I don't know what I'm doing. And they were like, use this stuff for the core wool. It's very cheap. It felts to itself, and it's really dense. So like, you know, not like you could kill a man with this or anything, but it is very dense. And since I do a lot of stuff that's like very detailed, and very like thin, it has, you know, its human shape, its limbs, it's less like big plushies and things. This is extremely useful for having something dense to felt onto. We will add the little antenna later. I think I'm gonna use this wire for wire skeletons. I know I can't kill him yet. Sorry. We have all of our colors here off to the side. I'm just gonna offer right now. This will be for the antenna, gills, whatever. This is for the sort of darker part on there, and this is for the lighter part. And another thing that I've found that that you want to do is, even if it's not as like accurate to what it's going to be, to like what the colors are, like the actual darker blue on Wooper is more of a navy, but this is a teal. Can't you tell I like teal? My entire stream is teal. But like these three colors go together better than like the navy that I had did, which I would show you, except I would have to dig into my felting bin and by the way, I'll show another time probably, but I have stickers of a bunch of you guys. Like a bunch of your stuff on here. Like I have a Lovesick sticker, I have a Xandru Bird sticker, I have one from Sleepy Sea Slug, I have one from Meister, I have a Reb one on my bin here. Here, like, okay, so it's not my... Oh, hi, Les! So yeah, like I have that and that and that. I have an Onsta one, Fleshberry. Well, here, let's just grab it. Shit. That's all my friends. You don't think it's heavy until you're carrying an entire thing with not very good leverage. Also, we have, okay, no, go over there. We have these things. These are literally dog brushes. Like, they are dog brushes. Also, this is here because, like, this thing came out. It's just, like, a very shitty repair job. This is so that we can card the wool. And carding is essentially taking it from this, like, silky, sort of hair-like straightened state to, like, this state, where it's, you know, it's sort of more tangled. Tangle's not the right word, but you know what I mean. And that's because when you felt onto a surface, if you don't card it, you're going to see, tease it out, essentially. You're going to see all of these, like, lines. It's going to look wrinkly. So in order to have more of a flat surface, you card it like this. But I will keep it uncarded for things like hair and stuff like that, because you want it to look like that. So what we do is we put a little on each one. Sometimes I get lazy and more than this. And you hold them this way, and you just do that, and you that in a gloss finish. Less so that, and more just like you would be able to see all of the wool doesn't look like a smooth paint. It looks like more of a like a palette knife. Like you would just be able to see everything. And then I kind of tease it out like this. And then that's a much... Well, let's see if I can demonstrate it actually. Probably just on the here. And this is just like a wool mat that I bought. I used to use like a styrofoam. And that, it works fine, but it just kind of like caves in like a mattress would over time. So, okay. I don't know how like super well this is gonna show up, but you can kind of see that, like, you can tell that it's this kind of straight line here. And if I tried to, for example, cover a face like that, that has, it looks kind of swirly. Whereas if I use the stuff that I carded, yeah, I'm pretty fast at this point. And then if you you can smooth it out by hand, or frankly, while you're working on it, you're going to smooth it out anyway. So this, and like these little marks here also go away as you handle it. Looks much more flat and looks much more uniform than this does, and that's why I card it. Out of there. All right, we will card a little bit more. Yeah, this is what I do when I'm lazy. I'm just like, yeah, get on there. Good for like... It's a very good I feel like shit activity, because you can just sort of make yourself feel better by being like, yeah, take that, wool, piece of shit. Let's start with that. We will most likely need more. Yeah, like this is probably not enough to cover all of that. It is very satisfying. It can kind of get bread donating. It is a lot like that. And I also like to cook. I may eventually start doing cooking streams, except you'd have to see my dumb face. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Yeah, the reason that I start like this instead of doing every part individually and getting the dyed wool on there, is it's not dumb. I know it's not dumb. The reason that you do that is just because you can get into these nooks and crannies pretty well. Okay, so what I will do is like sort of cover a surface and hold it down like this. This kind of, and like here, for example, that part didn't get carded super well. So what I will do is kind of tease it out a little bit with just the needle. And oh yeah, if we want to show like what the felting needle looks like, thank you for the follow, is, let's just take these out actually. This is a holder for 2 felting needles. Hi, Artie. Like nothing in here, but this holds yes, we're being very sneaky. I didn't actually intend for anybody to show up, but Lovesick showed up a little bit earlier and then Renee raided, so I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So this one's all bent. And I don't know, you probably won't be able to see it terribly well, but they are... Can I be like a beauty YouTuber? So this is a felting needle, and no, sorry. So this is a felting needle. It's got these little notches in it, and what that does is it kind of acts like Velcro in that it like pulls at the wool, and it teases it into shape. And so these are serrated essentially. Got these like notches in them. And that action turns it into felt. And you can be a psychopath and you can just do this. But A, that'll give you an RSI, and B, that'll make you stab yourself, and C, it's not very fast. And they do break eventually. These 2 have held on pretty good for pretty long. They got me through my like big order. Also, how is this stuck on here? Bitch, what is you doing? I don't know. You're not really supposed to do that. Back on there. Ah! No, that is just in there good. How was it before? We'll break when we break, and if you try to mess with us. How fast do you go through needles? It depends. These ones, they're supposed to be more parallel than they are. This one just got bent. I have grab my felting, sorry, Wooper, supply bin here. There. I've got painted and unpainted. How fast can a needle go? So I have a bunch, and these ones can go in the bigger one. These are painted at the tips, and they can go in what you see the little mascot mouse holding, which is more of a traditional felting, which looks like this. And this is what I use for details. This is what I use for details like eyes and faces and mouths and things like that. You can take this apart and it just goes on notch in it. It's just held in there by friction. So yeah, this is more for detail, and so it doesn't get used quite as often. But the sort of workhorse one is the one that holds. It actually holds 3, but I use 2. And the reason that you don't use a bunch of needles is because the pressure gets distributed differently. So it's not going to go as deep as quickly the more the pressure from like your hand is spread out through multiple needles. So I found that 2 is a good amount for me. I don't usually use 3. I'll cover him more. I guess if you get trypophobic, then this would be frustrating for you, but and these little guys tend to go away. Yeah, it can be hard to see, but sometimes it'll be like, huh, I think the white is peeking there a bit. So what I might do, like take a bit from here, sure that it's teased out just a little bit, and add it. That will often happen if I have a somewhat light color. And especially if I'm doing it with not great lighting, which is it's kind of nice that I have this big ass ring light now for this, because when I would like sit on the couch and watch streams and felt, and it would be nighttime, and I would just have like night lighting on, I would be like, huh, I thought I covered all of that, but there's all these big white patches in there. So, damn it, and then you. If anybody has any questions, just let me know. Sort of afraid for there to be silence, which is why there's music. Oh yeah, something that happens. These are from sheep. This is merino wool that I get, usually from England, from a place called Heidi Feathers, and they come from real sheep. So sometimes there's like little straw in it out. But if you get bad quality wool, there will just be a shit ton of straw in there. Thank you for the follow. And so, yeah, there will be like a shit ton of straw in there, and so, for example, the reason that you have to, at least in America, often go online to get felting supplies is because needle felting is not popular enough to be in big craft stores. Like knitting is, crocheting is, but felting is not. And so they'll have this pack that's like called Dimensions wool or something, and it is just like the gnarliest wool you've ever seen in your life. It's so scratchy. It is so full of straw. Like, I'm glad this came from, you know, real sheep and it's not like acrylic or whatever, but this is nasty. That they're just picking straw out of it forever. And I'm not like I absolutely have to use real wool 100% of the time just because, you know, this is polyfill, this is acrylic. Um, but all of the wool that you see on the outside is from again a place called Heidi Feathers in England. Um, and you um and it's from non-mulesed flux. And mulesing is a I won't go into it because it's a little gross, but it's a thing where, like, in order to prevent a particular disease from sheep, they kind of like cut them in a way that like hurts them, so that they like don't like rub against a part of their bodies, and it's just like that's not very humane. So if you are getting felting supplies, make sure that it's from non-mulesed sheep. Mules. And if you do want to try out needle felting, please do. It's not a very difficult hobby to start with, and it's not very expensive to start with. You can get on Amazon. Heidi Feathers actually has a really nice little kit, and they'll show you how to do like some things. It's all incredibly British. It's very funny. Um, and also they have sheep in England, which is why all the stuff comes from England. Um, some stuff comes from a place called Felted Sky. That's where I like my needles are from, and that place is in Michigan. It's relatively close by to me. But this stuff it's organic, it's really soft, it's all like dyed very, very well. The colors are really nice. And these are from there's different types of wool. The main one that you'll see and the one that I use is called merino wool. It's from merino sheep, the type of sheep. There's Corriedale. That um tends to be a bit more natural looking. You do a lot of like animals wool. And then I also get alpaca wool, and that's really soft. Like when I make mallow, um, it's a white alpaca wool that is hard to fucking work with. It's similar to like if you work with minky, if you sew it all. You're like, man, this is so soft, this is so great, but holy shit, is it slippery? It's kind of like that. Like, I fucking hate myself, but this is so great. I do have, and I'll find it next time, a really old Wooper that I made. Um, that's from like right when I started needle felting, and it does use the wool that's from the kit that I got, the Heidi Feathers kit. That's like, I don't know, $30 or something on Amazon. So not like, you know, not a nothing investment, but it's certainly um cheaper than what you might for other hobbies. And it like comes with everything. Okay, here we have the head. That looks pretty good. I'm just gonna kind of look over it. Yeah, I think we got everything. Um, these wrinkles will sort of come out. I can kind of hold it around my hand a bit. I originally, and here's what's nice about needle felting is that you can kind of change things. So, is him's head was too small before, so I just added more, and that's also why we wait to use the color until. And you can also buy wool that's already carded. It's just that I tend to find that the nicer, the like brighter color dyes, which I like to use because I do more cartoony things, um, those brighter color dyes tend to be in the merino wool tops. That tops is usually what it's referring to when it's talking about like this, the kind that's all brushed out like that. Very nice little noise. It makes a little shoof noise. What a good relaxing Pokemon. Thing I may have done the tail later. It's a little annoying to keep it out of the way. But like when I do human-shaped characters, I have, you know, all the arms and legs there, and I just move them out of the way. So sometimes they're doing like a yay kind of pose while I'm working on bodies. We purposefully did not stick these legs all the way on here so that I could do this. So that I could more easily reach this area. And then once I am done with covering this with the blue, I will probably kind of stick these more on there. Maybe or maybe not, because it's kind of cute having him be able to be like, yeah. This one does not have a skeleton in it, so he's not really posable. But it's also nice to have like a little bit of a moving part. Bones optional, absolutely. And some like Mallow has skeleton arms. He's got a wire that just goes through his body, and then those become his arms. But the rest of him is not posable. But like when I do the figures, I've got, these are my guides. This is for the small one. This is my original one, and then I kind of altered it based on how I actually use it, and I just sort of make the wire over top of that. And this is for the larger one. And so this is what I'll use on Saturday to start making the skeleton for the mouse doll. And these are just here. This will actually have articulated fingers, and holy shit, those were annoying to figure out how to make. I kind of made up my own technique for it. But it's really impressive. And you haven't seen what those look like. Let me just grab Dorothea. Dorothea. Oh. Here she is. This is a Dorothea Fire Emblem, Dorothea Arnold doll that I made. It hasn't sold yet, so she's just hung out at my house. But she also has heels, which will be used for the mouse doll as well. And has articulated hands. So you can move the fingers. They're all articulate. Head, her legs, her arms. You can move anything. Just wire under there. Also has pants. Any character that I make who has like a dress or a skirt has pants under there. They're I have no idea if it would be TOS to like show you a doll's pants, but she essentially has like bike shorts under there. And when I would do the felting videos for them, I would like hold them off screen to be like, don't look at me like poking this doll in the crotch. But when it's sped up so much, you don't even see it. It's just funny. I'm just like, no, I must protect this doll's modesty. Is this the best way to do this? I don't know. That's gonna get him. That's gonna get folded up. Probably one. Tails can be. And tails, you want to make sure that the tail is in the skeleton if you're making a character with a tail or like a pet or something. The tail has to be there to start because it all needs to be connected as one piece of wire. And if you were interested, the actual origin of my username is an art project that I made in high school, which was a little mouse that I called WireMouse. It was made of it was a wire sculpture who was made of many pieces of wire, because I didn't know that it's stronger have it be all one piece. Um, and that, because it's metal, it all, there's no friction, so it can't really like hold together, just kind of like, and so it's very fragile. But it's stuck together all these years, and my dad still has it, so I was like, okay, I'll name myself after this thing that's very fragile and not very well made. That's how I thought of myself when I was X Note 16. But I think it's before that, I was on the Homestar Runner wiki, and I was Bright Star Shiner. Oh my god! Let's have a Homestar Runner themed username. I'm not gonna call myself old, but that does show you the era in which I was like in middle school and high school. 31's not old. That look cool? Yeah. Actual Wooper has more of a skinnier neck than that. Wouldn't it be cute? Oh my gosh, wouldn't it be cute if he had a little bow to go around him neck? That would be cute. That'd be real. I've done that before. Just like I have a Jigglypuff that I put the bow on to look like her Smash Brothers Melee like red costume. Yeah, so now we're going to be felting this doll's crotch, and I apologize, but your crotch needs to be covered, Wooper. Be covered. For Pokemon. And it kind of doesn't matter if you like go over something twice because felt is sort of thin. So like it's usually not going to be a big deal if you're like, "Oh, I have more, just the other one." If he has a little tum. If I get affiliate, I'm absolutely going to have a Pet the Dog redeem. Mark my... I don't have any other ideas for redeems, though. I have some ideas for emotes. Most of them are that sort of watercolor thing that I use. Back over it. Either tear that off or might do. Start. Want to wrap it around? Sometimes if you wrap it around it has that same problem as the uncarded wool, where it's like obvious that it's just him. Him. Like, excuse me. And like, it's okay if this looks a little bit like Like, the head looked a little kind of not perfectly oblong. But I can just smoosh him with my hand. Like, hey, get into shape. Yeah, we are starting to run out of the carded wool that I already had. Do we want to do this part? Okay, if I make another Wooper, I may do the tail separately, because this has become a slight problem where it's difficult to, like, attack the tail, like, separately. You just learn these things if you make something more than once. But especially, and what I like about sort of coming up with things like this is that it feels similar to cosplaying, where it's like, okay, how do I take this thing that, you know, usually only existed in, like, the 2D world, and how do I make it into a real object? Because this room that I'm in is actually my craft room. It's just a little den. I have a 1-bedroom apartment. It's not that big of a deal. But I'm sort of surrounded by all of my old cosplay stuff that I'm really proud of, because I was able to be like, okay, what material can I use to create this? And that is what, you know, really appeals to me about cosplay and about needle felting. So it's nice that even though I made a Wooper a long ass time ago, so I don't really remember it, I can be like, oh, okay, so if I do this again, maybe I'll do it this way. And you also saw that I was, like, holding down the wool there. That's just so that it's, like, held in a good place. You really don't, you want to be, and okay, it doesn't sound like I'm being very efficient, or like being efficient matters, like efficiency of your movement. But it does in terms of, you don't want to be poking so much that you're wasting effort. Like, if I had just had that loose, I would be doing a lot more of this in order to get it into place. And also similar with the polyfill, is I will often like roll it and scrunch it up, sort of get it to that state, and then start felting it. And that really helps with sure that it's an equal density all the way through, which just doesn't matter that much, but is certainly nicer to work with. Kind of makes a nicer product at the end. It just feels more like a solid object rather than like, something's a bit homemade parentheses derogatory about this. Thing in the crafting world that's like homemade versus handmade. It's also in like the fashion world, where homemade is an insult and handmade is a compliment. Like, homemade is like, oh, it's this, you know, not very well done, kind of amateurish thing, and handmade is like a master crafted. And, you know, I think those people suck anyway if they're discriminating that, but we do want things to, you know, especially if somebody's paying. The dolls that I make are, I mean, this one would be like, you know, $30 or something. Like the figures that I make are in the $70 to $100 range. I want to make sure that somebody like got what they paid for. I don't want to half-ass anything. Sometimes to my own detriment, where I will like work super super hard to be like, it's not perfect. They want perfect. It's like, it'll be fine, but I want to make sure they get what they want. Getting a little tired though. I may pick this back up another time. Hope that you won't like it if you don't get to today. least wanted to get like the base blue. I think about how I wanted the gills. Because the first time I did a Wooper, I just sort of had them be like little wispies. I didn't try to make them the actual structure that they are. Because I was like, I don't know how to fucking do that. But putting, making something really thin like that is kind of hard. Because you have to make a wire structure, that's going to be seen because it's got, only a little bit of wool around it. And then you have to usually like add glue to the wire and kind of glue it on there and do a little bit of like felting to the side to make sure that it's in place. But it is a little finicky. Oh yeah, and another thing I do is do like a full rotation. Like, okay, if you bend it this far, is there going to be any white here? Hi, Sploot. My first stream, it's a test stream. But people showed up for it, so thanks. Yeah, okay. Looks like any way that I turn the tail. No, there's one. There's one. There's a little bit of uncovered core wool. So add some on here, a little wisp. I don't want to put too much on because then it might be. And lumpy is the enemy of good. Some people are very particular about their needle felting, like having a very smooth surface. And it's not like super easy to see here, but it does have kind of a fuzziness, a fuzzy halo to it. Which I kind of hemmed and hawed about. But my work does have that fuzziness to it. Which I've grown to like because that means that it's felted, you know? Like, it's not just a plushie. It was made by a person. So, it like, so incredibly depends. It's no shame on people who like to do it that way. But, the way that I like to do not worry so much about it having a fuzziness. A little bit more. This is some old-fashioned shit here, by the way, doing the carding the wool. What you would do for, like, making yarn back in the day. Do this, and then you would, like, put it into the spinner. The hand spinner. The wheel. And the actual history of needle felting is that, like, so there's two kinds of felting. There's wet felting and there's needle felting. And wet felting is sort of, if you think of like felt hats or slippers or things like that, that are more dense. That is similar to when you might get like a little fuzzy in like the drying machine, where it's water and soap and agitation. And that's also how you make pre-felt by hand. And we'll do that at some point, I'm sure. I just find it obnoxious. But it's a lot of laying things. You will like lay wisps of wool and then put it in sort of a couple of different layers perpendicular to each other. And then you like rub it a lot. Kind of like wrap it around a rolling pin and then like do this a lot. And that's a natural felting because you're like making it tangle and hold together like this, and you can also like then dry it and it gets more of a tighter weave. But then like needle felting, and then you also like put it over a mold, and like there's a wet felting's its own thing and it's amazing, and I'm like, not very good at it. But needle felting only really came about in like maybe the 80s, like the 1980s, because these needles were used to make like batting for quilts, for like duvets and stuff, in factories, and they would just be these giant sheets of these needles that did this over and over to felt the wool into a batting. And somebody was like, we could probably take that on a smaller scale and make like sculptures with that. Um, and you can also like make like sort of felt paintings with a flatter surface. Um, and so it grew from there, but it's honestly a relatively new medium. It's newer than video games. Um, if you consider video games to have started in like this. Um, that's part of why not a whole lot of people do it. And why I can have the monopoly on felted dolls on Etsy. No. I didn't choose it for that reason. I chose it because I got laid off and wanted a hobby. Um, and I was like, well, this is my new thing now. I've decided. And that's, partially due to this community. Actually, a lot due to this community. Because back when Reb did show and tell, that was right around when I was starting doing it, like the summer of 2023. And I was showing it off, and you guys were like, "Oh my gosh, that looks so cool!" And I'm like, "Really?" And sort of encouraged me to start a shop. I did, and it's been going all right. I do think that we are going only attached here instead of attaching her. This is. I will occasionally, if there's sort of a weird attachment here, do this kind of raking motion with the needles to get it to not have it be clumping up quite as much. Very difficult, particularly, well, not very difficult, but it just takes some getting used to figure out particularly where things join like this, how to make it look right and look smooth and not look crumpled up. And it just takes practice, but honestly, needle felting is very easy to get started with, and you don't really need instructions. Like, you can, particularly to sort of get used to how things are built. But once you know the building blocks, I mean, I haven't used a tutorial in forever, except for like different, specific technique. There's a needle felter that I really look up to named Carry Bird, Karry Bird. She's on like YouTube and Instagram and such. Hi, oh, goodbye, doggy. He walked away. Where are you going, my sweet child? And she does a lot of really cool Pokemon stuff. She did a Monster Hunter Mizutsune that's like fucking amazing, and I took so many notes and I learned a lot from just that one video. She does Sacred from Wilds, which I get, but I want. And she even uses like a little sort of mini iron thing to make her stuff just very crisp and not have the fuzziness, which works really well for her. Okay, I am seeing that a little bit here. That's relatively thin. So add some. She, you go. Your puppy. Oh, he's oh, he's under the table. Mother, gender neutral mother. What are you doing? Why are you sitting there? You can be non-binary. Up and then stream and take him out. Finish up the sort of details on this. Not on Saturday because I want to start the WireMouse avatar doll. Yeah, like if you pay attention to what you're doing, and you were just kind of, you know, methodical about it and don't rush too. You really can't go wrong. If it doesn't look right, you either try next time, do it differently, or you just rip it off and be like, I don't like that eye, goodbye. Yes. No. Cooperate. Stop. Cooperate. Listen. And then I also like to be like, okay, is this on here as securely as this one is? I think it is, but if I wasn't, I could just sort of felt this down a bit more securely. I also hope I haven't been bumping the camera too much. It's just my phone on like an arm. But the arm is attached to the table, so when I go too hard on the felting with my arms on the table, it will shake the camera. I will try not to do that. Because when I've done my felting videos in the past, it hasn't mattered if I shake the camera because it's going at literally 10,000% speed. I do still want to do those felting videos. I will probably just like record like this video separately. There's a little bit of uncovered. I will deal. Looks uniform and to just get a feel for like how much you pull there. Roll out my shoulder a little bit. Take more break. I don't know, I just feel like I get tired. I have, you know, a sample size of one. These are tentatively scheduled to be 3 hours long. More or less. 4 to 5 hours is how long it takes for. Looks about right. stand up on his own? Kinda. He doesn't. No, mother, you made me wrong. Okay, so that's all we'll do for today. The cap back on this thing. That nobody gets stabbed. So well me. And thank you everybody for coming, even though I didn't announce it or anything because I was just like hee hee hee. Nobody will see me. But yeah, I guess I will raid it before. I've never done anything before. What if I raid Juno? Let's raid Juno.